all got grubby, inky fingers now here on France 24. Well, Florence has anyway, because she's been looking through the French newspapers, haven't you? Of course, they're all still full of more coverage of the Pope, aren't they?
That's right. We're going to start by looking at Libération, that has a very provocative headline today. It says that after the Pope, it's time for God to step down. Dieu démission sounds like something you could hear at a demonstration.
Yeah.
Basically, what Libération is doing is looking at the place of religion, and especially the Catholic Church, in the public sphere. And this is a debate that comes up time and time again in France, which, remember, is a secular country and has been since a law that imposed a strict separation between the church and the state in 1905. Well, Libération points out that despite the fact that the number of followers and the number of clergymen in the Catholic Church is in decline, the Church is trying to weigh in more and more on the public debate, impose its old-fashioned ideas. Libération says all this is polluting the public debate. It says the bigots are putting on the pressure. That's Libération's words. For instance, on the issue of gay marriage, we saw that the Catholic Church was instrumental in rallying people against the government's plan to legalize gay marriage.
Yeah, it is a very controversial headline, though, isn't it? Not the kind of headline that you would find in CROIX, the Christian paper. They're focusing on how the Vatican is reacting to the Pope's decision.
That's right, and according to CROIX, the Vatican is still reeling from the Pope's decision. It calls it a jour inédit au Vatican, so really unseen days at the Vatican with this unprecedented announcement. So CROIX wonders, what's next for the Vatican? Who's going to replace Benedict XVI? Well, in their editorial, CROIX says there's electoral fever that's completely taken over the Holy See. There's not this usual respectful restraint that you get when a pope dies, for instance. And CROIX in their editorial says, hold your horses. The Catholic authorities really need to take their time. They shouldn't get swept up in this frenzy, especially in this time when that could be a very attractive thing. The world is so quick and fast-paced and turbulent, according to CROIX.
And a lot of the papers also, of course, inevitably asking who's next.
That's
Successor.
Right, successor. And Aujourd'hui en France wonders, could the Pope be French? Could the next Pope be French? Now, to participate in the papal conclave, you have to be a cardinal, you have to be younger than 80 years old, but theoretically, any single cardinal that participates could be elected. Now, in France, there are 9 cardinals, 4 are younger than 80, so basically 4 French cardinals potentially have a chance. None of them are seen as front runners, says Aujourd'hui en France, but you never know, there could be a surprise. So let's take a look at 2 of the favorites. First of all, you have Monseigneur André 23. He's 70 years old. He's the Archbishop of Paris. He's been very vocal against the government's plan to legalize gay marriage, which, according to Aujourd'hui en France, has given him some points at the Vatican. Another contender is 62-year-old Monseigneur Philippe Barbarin. He's the Archbishop of Lyon, and according to Aujourd'hui en France, he's got the best profile, and he's younger, so he's probably the best hope France has.
Now, French paper is also focusing on the economy today, in fact. This is a report by the country's top auditor.
That's right. This is the Cour des Comptes. It issued its yearly review of the government's finances, and the verdict is on the front page of Le Figaro. The deficit, it says, France is not going to be able to hold its objective of 3%. This was something that François Hollande had promised. Le Figaro says it's imperative that the government save money, but it says it's not going to hold its breath. So far, the government has made this promise several times and hasn't done anything about it.
And Aujourd'hui en France, they're taking a closer look at government spending. Not always a pretty picture, they're saying.
That's right. This is also following that report from the Cour des Comptes, and it takes a look at the big wastes in public spending. That's on the cover of Aujourd'hui en France today. Now, according to Aujourd'hui en France, hundreds of millions of euros go up in smoke every year because of ridiculous public projects. And we'll take a look at one of the ones that they outline. This is a high-speed rail network, TGV rail network between Paris and Strasbourg. Well, 2 train stations have been built 20 kilometers apart from each other. So it seems kind of ridiculous. Sure. According to Aujourd'hui en France, this cost 156 million euros. It was because local politicians were pulling the strings, trying to get what they wanted. It wasn't at all in the public's interest, according to Aujourd'hui en France.
Sounds pretty typical. Florence, thank you very much. Florence VILLEMINOT with the internet, with the French papers, in fact, here on France 24. Do stay with us if you possibly can.